and perception and switch it over to God. I can't do that because sensual perception does not operate in the realm of the spirit. I hope I ain't going too high for y'all. And that then makes faith not an elective. Faith, no honey, it's not an extra. Faith is essential for every believer. Why? Because you cannot touch faith. You cannot sensually feel faith. You can't smell faith. You have no physicality as it relates to your walking or communing with God. That then takes God away from all that is material and physical, and in fact it moves God outside the realm of your intellect. Because to deal with God, you must do it in the spirit. They that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. And the only way to operate in the spiritual realm is by faith. It is faith then that brings me out of the physical into the spirit. And it does not matter what my financial capacity is. It doesn't matter my family background, my family heritage, my family lineage, because nothing material or tangible dictates what faith is all about. So anybody in here who has a relationship with God, you have to have faith. Because you cannot have it any other way. Because it is not a physical faith. It doesn't matter how people view you. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter the shape of your nose. You cannot see faith. You cannot hold faith. I'm trying to explain y'all that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But if you're in God, the Bible tells us that the just shall live, my God, by faith. Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. It's interesting and important to note this because it is not the king in this text. It's not the king that God is going to deliver the city over to. It's not the military might that is going to keep them or protect them. God is simply going to use 4 intrusive, sick brothers, my God, to deliver all of Israel. I wish I studied your Bible. I wonder sometimes, has God ever placed you in a position that if it were not for you and your faith, my God, others around you would still be suffering. Yeah, you know that's why they call you to pray, because they know they ain't been living right. They call you to pray because they know you ain't got as much money as they got, but you got faith. You ain't got as much power as they have, but you got faith. God sometimes gives you that kind of faith. So you got to be careful how you handle me just because I don't have the same economy as you. You got to be careful how you treat me just because I ain't been saved as long as you have. You got to be careful how you treat me just because I joined in and I wasn't born in. You got to be careful. I never say be careful how you treat me. Because you don't know I might be the angel that you need. I might be the person that needs to pray for you to get plan of action and all that they deal with to set their plan of victory. The king was probably worried because up until this point, he had never really had to suffer. And God said, well, I'm just going to deliver this thing over to somebody that nobody ever would have thought. Somebody who's totally out of the mainstream. To the one that's the least popular. I'm preaching to myself. Really, y'all, I'm preaching to me. I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning even the more lately that it's not always a bad thing, Pastor Van, not to be a part of the mainstream. The regular folk. Look at your neighbor, say ain't nothing regular about me. Ain't nothing regular. But tell me, don't be part of the mainstream. Listen, I'm unusual. He told me to be peculiar. I know I'm funny living. I know I ain't crazy. I know. God is looking for somebody who does not care about being popular. It's not care. They're not trying to win a popularity contest. Popularity is not their reasoning for their occupation in ministry. And as a result, let me tell you, as a result of just wanting to please God, popularity will creep up on you on your own. I don't know how I ended up in India. I don't know how in 2 months I'm going to Malaysia. I don't know how in the month after that I'm going to the Philippines. I didn't know how I'm going there because I didn't care about being popular. About being honest. I care about preaching the truth. I care about passing out beer. Whether you give your offering or you hold it in your purse. Look at your neighbor, say, tell the truth. Praise all better. Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth. God is looking for somebody that will trust him come what may. And no matter what anybody thinks about it, they are inclined to do what God says. Look at your neighbor and say, I don't know about you, but I'm going to do what God says. Now, I don't know about what you're going to do, but I'm going to do what God says. I tried it somewhere and I ended up in jail. I tried it somewhere and I ended up with an EBT card. I tried it somewhere and I ended up broke. I'm going to do what God says. It's interesting here because when I look at the scriptures for a demonstration of faith, and when I look at the people who were noted for their faith, it was generally people who were outside of the mainstream. The lepers. If you remember the leper that came to Jesus, he came to him very modestly, but also very confidently, and said, if thou wilt, thou canst make me whole. He was not in the mainstream because he was a leper. He was an outsider. Lepers were ostracized. It was the centurion. He was not in the mainstream Israel because as a centurion, he was an enemy, so he was not even allowed to come to church. He wasn't even allowed, y'all read your Bible. He wasn't even allowed in the synagogue. He was an outsider, yet he was the one that came to Jesus and said, I'm not even worthy for you to come to my house, but would you just send the word? Because I know that your Lord I can be. she was a Canaanite and wasn't even allowed in the portals of the synagogue. She was outside of the mainstream. Yeah, she hollered and even when the disciples tried to shut up, she kept hollering, you know. And even Jesus came and checked her. She kept hollering until she got the victory. Every now and then God want to know how bad do you want it. How bad do you need your healing? How bad do you need your breakthrough? How bad do you want? Ask me people how bad do you want it? The bleeding, y'all remember the bleeding woman? Of course, she had to be away from everything. She had to be away from everybody. If you just read Leviticus 19, it would show you she had no way to come into the presence of the temple or anybody. She had to stay away. You could not even sit in the chair that she sat on because everything that she touched was pronounced unclean. Yet and still, she was out of the mainstream. She purposed in her heart, if I could just but touch the hem of his garment, I shall be made whole. What about the man that was sick with the palsy? Yeah, Jesus was in the house, and while he was in there, his friends heard about it and brought him to the house, but the house was too packed and he couldn't get in. So Jesus didn't even say that they began to tear the roof off so his friend could be healed. They began to rip the roof off just to get in the presence of God. I want to know, is there 15 people that said, I don't care about what I got to do, I just want to get in his presence. I don't care if I got to call, I want to be in the presence of God. I'm tired of pretending. I need to get in his presence. I'm an ardent worshiper, and so sometimes I kind of felt sis a little earlier because it seemed like, you know, as long as we praising, everybody's jumping. But when you worshiping, it seems like you calm down. That ain't the time to calm down, baby. You got in the presence of the Lord. That's the time to say, God, I need my healing. I need my breakthrough. And the devil has dumbed us down to make us think that on the worship part, we need to get all quiet and talk. That's when you scream out loud. Didn't matter what other people thought. Didn't matter how other people treated them that needed God. Didn't matter people's attitudes. All they wanted to do was to get into the presence of the Lord. I promise you, if you could just find your way to God, you may have to fight. You may got to tear the roof off. Some of y'all may got to disguise yourself. Somebody said, by any means necessary, I've got to see Jesus. No, I didn't come to see you, baby. I know you're preaching tonight, but I came to see Jesus. I know you can sing good. I know you can go up 25 hours, because I know all that, but I did not come to see to see Jesus. And what you got to know is that when you really need God, everybody around you don't want you healed. Everybody don't want you free. So God recognizes the effort that you put in to getting into his presence. You cannot dictate. I told somebody the other day, don't let nobody dictate what God will do for you. Oh my God, or what opportunities God has for you. Don't let nobody tell you what God won't do for you because of what they think. Who is it to say what God's will is for me? Nobody can dictate to me what God intends for my life. God, they have you right here in the right place at the right time to deliver everybody on your road. Tell your neighbor, you sitting on the right road. You sitting. The key is getting into the. If you need healing, you on the right road. If you need deliverance, you on the right road. Now, if you lying, don't say it. If you need a breakthrough, you on it. Anybody got a prayer line? Anybody got a connection with God that you know? Once you open your mouth, God move. Key is to get into his presence. Excuse me. And that's what faith does. Faith can transform this place, I'm prophesying now, to where you are right now, to a place of extreme blessing. Faith can transform that job you have, that little business you started, and transform it into a place of extreme blessing. And turn your life into something exceptional. But you've got to have faith. I thank God my friend Jamie is here. She's a member out here, I think, at Pastor Witherspoon's church, but she's from San Francisco, and she called me about 2 years ago. She said, Renee, I got a dream. I wanna start my own basketball camp. You know, and in my natural mind, I'm saying, girl, sit down. There's too many people doing that. There's too many WNBA players. You ain't been nowhere. What you talking about? Basketball camp. And she said, would you agree with me? Would you just pray with me? And we began to pray. And every now and then she would tell me, always get